speaking about scheduling, the next week and the week after that, I will not be available. So technically this call will not happen in the next 2 weeks. We have one call scheduled on January the 4th. And so Marlene, we're still making that decision, if I can be kind of honest. It depends on you guys. Has this been valuable to you over the last several months? I honestly, I'm wondering, you know, if it's been valuable enough for you to invest the time for me and for you. So you tell me what you've learned over the last few months to see whether it's been valuable. We get together, but has your business improved? Has your mindset improved? So Marlene, you kind of started off with an interesting question. I'm in the process of deciding what to do, frankly. So I will not know for another couple of weeks. But tell me today, what have you learned? How has it been valuable to you? Everybody else, jump in and contribute. I see the Kellys and the Kellners. There you go.
I'll just jump in and say, for me, this has been incredible. Often I'm in my vehicle and not able to actively participate, but I'm listening and I'm learning. And after the weekend we just went through, the more things we can learn about mindset and systems and productivity, the better. I love these calls and I appreciate so much your time. And I'm feeling that many of us are just ready to just boom in our business, and we'll have all these new people that are coming in that are going to need to develop their mindset. So I would love it if you could continue, but I also understand this is a huge commitment for you.
Well, we love the company, we love the products, I love you. So I just want to make sure it's valuable enough for you to continue. Any other thoughts, comments that people want to jump in?
So here's Kelly and Kellner, Jane Kellner, Charlie Kelly in Connecticut. And
hi,
hey
Allison.
guys, hi Allison. What we haven't been able to do any building with our businesses because of a family situation. This is our lifeline. This keeps our head in the game, even though our feet aren't in the game. And
nice way to say that.
So this, we really do rely on it, and we would love it to continue.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Any other thoughts that you've learned, things that you've, Anthony, what's your thoughts?
Well, mindset is big. That was something I always knew. You helped me back and being involved in 9 years. You helped me re-engage. You helped me out, start my week off. I hope they do continue this call. I look forward every Monday at 4 o'clock Central Time. It's helped me out a lot. And to piggyback off what Marlene said, with 2021, the way I'm looking at it is going to be the best year yet of my life. And I'm going to have all these new people. I need, hey, this is your first call you need to plug into to start your week off. So I know Rick is going to watch this recording. So Rick, yeah, we need this call, Rick. We need this, Allison.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. How do we make it better, I guess, is the question. How do we improve it so that it's something you never miss?
I wanted to say something.
Yes.
Well, I really love the time at 2 o'clock. It's something that it's right in the middle of the day. And it has been a really like a mindset awakening. I love the speakers that you've invited to speak. What I like specifically is the questions that you ask. I think you kind of take a little bit more time, and that has been very helpful. I love all the Zooms, but this is my Monday Zoom, the 2 p.m. Zoom that I love on Mondays.
Thank you, Vivian, for sharing that. I appreciate that. Somebody else want to jump in and just make a comment?
I haven't been
Hey.
able to get on them all the time. This is Diane from Bowden, Alberta, but I sure do enjoy them when I do get on.
Where's
So, yeah.
Bowden, Alberta?
What's that?
Where is Bowden?
It's in, well, it's in the western provinces of Canada.
Yeah, which was
Yeah,
it?
and it's in
Edmonton
between,
or Calgary or where?
it's 2.5 hours to Edmonton, 1 hour to Calgary.
So kind of between.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never
Yeah.
heard of the Bowden before. How many people live there?
Not many, about 500.
Oh, wow. Sign them all up. They all need it. You know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
All right. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that. Okay. Any other comments, thoughts? You're welcome to jump in and say it anytime you want. You just unmute yourself and come on in.
Yes, this
let's-
is Sandra.
Yes.
I got this invite today, so I really hadn't been on, but I would definitely love to be a part of this. I'm always open to learning, so whatever you can teach me, I'm game.
Sandra, where are you from?
Blakely, Georgia.
Blakely, Georgia. Where's Blakely compared to Atlanta?
Ooh, about 4.5 hours away.
South, north, east, west?
South, I'm sorry.
South of Atlanta.
Mhm.
Okay, Sandra. How long
About
have you been
30 minutes
involved?
from the Florida line.
Oh, nice. How long have you been involved in ARIIX?
We just transferred over from Limu this year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you here today. Any other thoughts, comments?
Yes, Bob, it's Heshi, and I wanted to make a comment.
Yeah.
Werner and I have been working with you since 2004. And so we know the value of getting on a call. You know personally that I have not been doing a lot over the last year and just kind of starting back. But I don't do anything in my day if it interferes with being on this call, because I don't think that unless someone's been with you for a very, very long time, in a short time, they'll get the value of what you do, but over a long term, what you do really sinks in, and what you do with mindset is more important than many other things. And I said, it's great to have the guests on, but I come on because I want to hear you and your wisdom. And I don't think enough people in ARIIX really get the value that they're missing here. And I somehow think that there needs to be more done, because I know what I learned from you and Werner learns from you, and we talk about that, but we've been with you for a long time, so we value everything that you say. And somehow there has to be testimonials. And, Werner, and I know I'm not speaking for Werner, he can speak for himself, but all of us would, I think, those of us who come on regularly would be willing to do a testimonial, because people are missing the boat by not being on your calls.
Thank you, Heshi. That's very kind of you to say that. I'm not begging for compliments here, by the way.
No, it's not. But it's really, people are it's almost like enrolling someone and say, oh, if you don't enroll that person, they're really missing something. I think that anybody who's not on your call is missing what they can do with their minds. And eventually, even if it doesn't sink in right away, it'll get there, and it may just take longer.
Thank you. Thank you, Heshi. Any other thoughts, comments right at the beginning of our call? Jump in.
I have one. Robert Allen. Hi.
Yes, yes.
It's Carlita from Saskatoon, and it's way your videos in the Boss are great, but having you live is so much better. And I think you get this drill in your brain that network marketing is a compensation plan attached to a personal development package.
Yeah,
but
true.
I don't know if every company gives their people this, and all the books you've written, all your experience, we're super lucky. So I vote yes. Let's keep going. Let's keep it going.
Saskatoon, the south of Saskatchewan. I've been there. When I was in high school, we played basketball. My little town of Raymond, Alberta, had a great basketball team, and we were in a tournament. We drove all the way to Saskatoon. Trust me, that's a long drive, and it was cold. in Saskatoon is cold. And I don't know. I think we won the tournament, but that's only the way I want to positively remember it. All right. So anyway, Carlita, good to know from Saskatoon. Any other thoughts, comments, questions?
I'd like to say a word.
Yes, please do.
Francis from Canada's national capital, Ottawa.
Oui.
I was shaken to my core this weekend on the GoPro. Basically, mindset, visualization, big time, and I realized that I'm in a rut. I'm blessed to have a pension. I just want something. I want to make a difference in the life of people, what I live. And this has shaken me so much that I need tools. I need this stability, maybe that weekly call that would help in that process. And
So
I'm committing for not 2021, I'm committing now to make the change. So
is this Francis?
It is Francis.
Francis Villon?
Filion.
Villon in Ottawa.
Filion with an F.
Filion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Francis, it's true. If your mindset doesn't work, nothing else does. If you can't, if your expectations are out of whack, then you're constantly disappointed. So mindset.
So I've always been there, but I think right now things are changing.
Yes.
Will change for the better.
Yes.
I just need to have all the tools and make it happen, and not only plan but the action taking to make to feel better and have a positive impact on my family, because I didn't realize that I draw them into the rut with me, and they're disconnected of me. But things will happen, and they'll see what I meant. But it has to happen when I'm alive, right? So.
Yeah. Well, we have ahas. We learn things, and thank you, Francis. Any other thoughts? This is, I think, very valuable for us to talk here today. Ashley, what do you want to say?
Hi, happy Monday. I absolutely love these calls. I am guilty. I don't get on here every single Monday, but when I do, I realize how much I do need it on a Monday. I think having that mindset on, because a lot of times, right, in our mind, it's like, oh, it's Monday. Oh, we're starting the week. So it's like, it gets me out of that funk. And so it's definitely part of my goals to start plugging in every single week. I do get on here quite a bit, but I'd like to get on here more. So thanks for getting me out of my Monday funk.
Okay. Out of your Monday funk. That's true. We go into the weekend sometimes. And okay, Valerie, you had something you want to say. Valerie.
Yes. Ashley kind of said what I was going to say about Monday funk. Like a lot of people, when they're headed into the work week and stuff, they need this like right at the beginning of the week. And I like having it on a Monday. And as far as mindset goes, I think that's our biggest part of our business. We have to be in the right mindset in order to be able to build and talk to people and, believe in what we have. So I think this call's huge.
Thank you, Valerie. The Monday funk, we're gonna say, Ashley, you'll be the one who gives us that name, getting out of the Monday funk. Very good. Who else wants to contribute today?
Hi, Robert. I will.
Yes, Sandy.
Hi, this is Sandy from Armstrong, BC. And I want to say that I love these calls. I try to be on it on every Monday. I work full time and I just work it so I come home and so I can be on this call. Mindset to me is the biggest thing for me to get past all the other obstacles. It's the mind. And I find that your call is incredible for mindset. And I think we're very blessed and lucky to have you. And so I say yay.
You're gonna vote we continue these, right? Okay,
yes.
That's your vote. All right.
Yes.
Anybody else want to contribute today?
This is Werner. You obviously know that Ashley and I need a Robert Allen fix from time to time, because
I raise my hand.
calls are a lot more than just about ARIIX. They really do support us in every way, actually, in our lives. I am wondering, to make it more worthwhile for you and ARIIX specifically, whether there shouldn't be commitments with each week. You asked us, for example, on the Thursday call to learn the commitment thing, which has been an enormous challenge for me, quite frankly.
Really?
Halfway through, I can get it, but when I get to the next part, I'm still working on it. But I'm gonna be ready this Thursday to do it in completion. That's a commitment. So I think there might be more value or reward to you and to ARIIX if in fact there were commitments, and I personally hate making commitments. But it could be that would be a way to accelerate it. Because when you talked about, for example, the 4 maps, and you talked specifically about particular sections, the question could be, you know, what are you going to do and what are you going to be accountable for out of this particular section, so that next week when we come together, you talk about your experiences briefly, and you just randomly select somebody and say, what did you learn? What did you do?
What'd you do? So what did you do? It's my focus for 2021 is not what did I learn, but what did I do?
And the other thing is, I think we should all pitch ARIIX that you get paid for doing this.
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Werner. I appreciate it. What he was referring to was a commitment form that you've all heard before. It's by W.H. Murray. It's a commitment form, and maybe I'll just share that with all of you here today as well, because I think it's something you all should memorize. So and what Werner was talking about is another call that I do separately from ARIIX on Thursdays. And I gave him a commitment to memorize this statement. And it goes something like this. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. So what I'm referring to you is a couple of paragraphs that was written in a book in 1951 by W.H. Murray. He was in the Scottish Himalayan expedition, and he wrote a book about his trip to Mount Everest. And now what's interesting is that Werner here has climbed Mount Everest. And if any of you want to know why ARIIX is so special, it's because it attracts people like that. This is a world-class individual. He is the best of the best, climbed all 7 of the highest mountains in the 7 continents of the world, and is part of the Guinness Book of World Records. So everybody give Werner a hand right here. Those of you, if you're brand new to the call, I see a couple of you, this is the first time. So anyway, Werner is referring to this statement that I challenged another group to memorize. You can all go online and just Google it. It's called Commitment by W.H. Murray. And you've seen it 1,000 times. But most people have not really inhaled it. That's not the right word. It's just like it becomes part of your DNA when you memorize these words and really get what they really mean. So thank you, Werner, for that suggestion. I might repeat something you've heard several times before, but until there is commitment, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness, concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would not otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. I have learned a great respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Now, when you go back through and you read all those words, you can download it anyway. It's all over the internet. But it's kind of like a quote. Sometimes we get a quote and we put that in our quote book. We go, oh, that's a great quote. And so we copy and paste it and stick it somewhere. And we never really assume it, assimilate it. I don't know sure what the right word is. You just bring it inside us so that every DNA of our understanding is, oh, I get it. I get it that until I commit myself, that means until I'm willing to look foolish, until I'm willing to fail, until I'm willing to look like a fool in front of other people, making commitments and then breaking them, until I'm willing to do that, then the universe will not align with us. The universe is the word he called providence, and he used it as small p, providence. And when I do the word, I do it with a capital P. His quote was, then providence moves too. Providence, maybe he means that it's just like the way things are, that when you commit, then kind of like everything kind of lines up to help you, you know. Maybe that was the way he meant providence. But when I read the word providence, I mean universe. That's the way I read it. The universe lines up to help you when the universe realizes that you are willing to risk everything. You are all in. You are so all in that you don't care how you look to other people. I remember what it's like before I got started in network marketing. I was embarrassed to tell anybody that I was involved in network marketing because I was afraid of what they would say. And obviously that's not an all-in comment, is it? So that's not, I wasn't all in. I was afraid what people would think. What would they think? And I was really worried about that. And it was a very expensive fear of mine because my wife wasn't worried about it. She joined her friend Colette. They launched off to make a lot of money in another previous company. And I refused to sign the paperwork because I was so afraid. I admit that now. I won't admit that, you know, previously, but now I'll admit the fact the reason I wouldn't sign the paperwork is I didn't want anybody to know that I was involved in network marketing. I wasn't all in. I wasn't committed. I wasn't willing to look like a fool. And so the universe basically notices those people who were all in. Now you have to be all in. I mean, you can go all in on crazy things. You know, I have people in my people I coach on how to make money outside of network marketing. They'll come to me and I'll say, okay, what would you like to do? What would you like to accomplish? Like next year, what's your goal? And they'll say, I want to make $10 billion. And I know that person is not all in. I know that they're out of their mind. They are ridiculous. When I hear somebody say this crazy, wild, I was going to say wild, started with an A, these wild comments, I go, you obviously haven't really thought this through because there's serious commitment that's going to take. It's going to take all of your time. And the people, it's easy for people to throw off this stuff and just go, oh yes, I want to be diamond, or that's in another company. I want to be chairman, you know, I'm going to be chairman next year. And they haven't really thought it through. They haven't really committed. They're just, I don't know what the word I want to use, but when you're all in, you've thought it through. You've thought to yourself, I know this is going to be hard, and I'm willing to say no to so many things. I'm going to have to say no to almost everything. Do you realize how hard that is? Very few people ever do that. They can't. We live in a world where it's almost impossible to say no because you're being distracted 1,000 different times by the phones dinging and buzzing and chirping at you all day long. And so how can you possibly keep on track to what you said you were going to do? So you've all received a copy of the book, The Four Maps, and the book on anticipation. The map on anticipation means I realize I anticipate the problems that are going to come at me. I realize they will be many. I'm willing to be a hero. or a heroine, because I'm going to push my way through them, and I'm going to say no to all the other things that could stop me. So that's why that commitment statement, when you think about it, is if Providence is in alignment with you and you are in alignment with yourself. So who is you? Who are you? You are a combination, a collection of talents and gifts and opportunities. You have certain desires and passions. You have certain ideals, and you have certain goals and plans and hopes and wishes, and you're just a concoction of all kinds of stuff. And you have an alignment to you. An alignment meaning if my dreams and my ideals and my passions and my values, if they're all in alignment for who I was born to be, then the universe goes, that one, let's go support that one. Don't get into spiritual conversations too much in ARIIX, but my own personal belief is when we're in alignment with the universe, we can't fail, because we've got the invisible forces of the universe who are in alignment with us, and we go, let that girl go, let that guy go, let's go help that person. So getting committed is hard. It's hard. It's really difficult because it's so easy to back out. So in 2021, we'll go a little bit deeper into that conversation. In 2020, we'll talk about how you commit to act. Sometimes, I'll tell you why I'm frustrated. Miss Marlene, you asked me, you got this whole thing started, Marlene. This is why I'm frustrated. I see 50 people here every week. There's 64 here today. That's not enough people. I don't know if I want to take my time for 64 people. There should be more people here. I'll tell you why I'm frustrated. Because a lot of people will come to a call like this. Oop, I'm kind of letting my stuff out of the bag here. A lot of people come and they want to learn. They want to take notes. I'm not into that. 2020 is going to be a year where you're going to do a whole heck of a lot, or don't come on this call. It's about committing to take action. Now, some of you are off the charts at that. And that's why I bring on these experts, these top 25 in North America. I bring them on. I want you to pick their brain. I pick their brain for you, and then you can ask them any question you want. What makes them so action-oriented? They just are doers. They just do it, right? So I wanted you to see over this last year. Let's let you talk to Luz. Let's let you talk to Dr. Pena and Dr. Vasquez. Let's you talk to some of these top 25. Let me. I want you to see that they're not into going to Zoominars and watching. They're into action every day. Act. So that's what I would. If we're going to change this call next year, we're going to all of us commit to be on here this next year. And thank you, Werner, for giving that suggestion. Let's commit to do things every week. So from time to time, I'll give you a challenge where I'll say, next week, go do this. But more than likely, it's going to be you that's going to make that commitment. You're going to say, let's go do this. Let's go make this happen. In this other call that Werner has been involved in, I'm not here to promote that, but Werner let that out of the bag. What I shared with them was I've shared this with you as well. I shared with them what I call the success cycle. And looking back over my career, when I made great progress, and massive, rapid success, it always came down to certain skills that I just unconsciously did. And I would achieve a certain goal. I'd write a best-selling book. I would, have seminars. I'd speak around the world, whatever. And it would just, I would figure it out and just do it. But looking back over my life, I could see where it didn't work, where I set a goal and it didn't work. I set lots of goals that didn't work. Lots of things that I didn't accomplish. Lots of dreams that I have that didn't materialize. And I look back over the times when I made these massive progress, and it boiled down to it started off with the concept of a deadline. And then I look back over that whole series of things that I did, and I realized, it didn't start with a deadline. It started with desire. It started with something that I wanted. And I decided I wanted it. And that was the second step. I decided it. I didn't just wish it. I didn't just hope it. It was like, I decided I'm going to do this. Darn it, I'm going to do this. So the next step after deciding is then the times when I really succeeded, I went back and I really researched it and thought about it and figured out, I declared it to people. I told people that I was doing it. I declared it. I told my friends around me, I said, I'm going to write a #1 New York Times bestseller. Really? And the universe, the providence just aligned like crazy. People just came out of the woodwork. Occur that would not otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events, issues from the decision raising in one's favor, all sorts, all manner of unforeseen incidents, things happening, meetings, people you meet on the, and material assistance. That means stuff you need, right? And just when I made those decisions and declared them, it's just like, oh, hey, there's a guy that knows what he wants. Let's go make it happen with him, right? Now, a lot of people thought I was crazy, but I didn't care. I didn't care if I told them I wanted to be a millionaire. That was just who I was. And if they didn't like it, sorry. How many people will remember the event anyway after about six minutes? If you offending somebody by something you said, it's forgotten. You know how I learned that lesson? When I had to declare bankruptcy in 1996. It was hard. I had to declare to the world that I was an idiot, that I was a fool. I made mistakes. And it cost me. It cost me everything. I had to declare that, and I thought no one would ever like me and never ever talk to me again. My friends would all shun me, that my church members would go the other way. They would never include me. This is what happens with fear. Fear is imagination gone wild. Fear is imagination gone to the nth degree of badness. And then, so that's why fear is so bad. And so my fears were, no one will ever like me again. I'll never be able to talk to anybody again. And I said, okay, guess I'm going to have to do it. I guess I'll have no friends for the rest of my life. That was how all in I was, because I didn't have too much choice. But the bottom line was, it was tough. It was really tough. But you know what? The next morning, I think it was Friday we did it. And so Saturday it was in the paper. Front page, San Diego Tribune. Robert Allen declared bankruptcy. Front page. Nobody talked to me about it. Nobody said anything. Nobody at church ever came up to me and said, see, you're on the front page of the paper here, Bob. Nobody really cared, to tell you the truth. Nobody really cared that much. I thought I was more important than that. And the truth was, the next day, the newspaper is filled with the same kind of stuff. same kind of news. And another layer of news is poured on you the next day, and then the next day, another layer of news, another layer of news. Pretty soon, the silly thing you did is buried so deep under all the other news that you are literally nobody. Nobody really cares all that much. I know that sounds kind of fatalistic, but what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't be worried about what other people think of you, because they rarely do. They really, and if it's a friend of yours who is offended by the fact you've decided to do this industry, then that is not a friend. They don't belong in your friendship. They can go find, if it's a family member, and that's a little tough. That's a little tough. I won't go that strong, but anyway, so commitment is when you go all in and you don't care what people think. You're actually excited about aligning yourself with the people you're supposed to align with and disaligning yourself with the people you're supposed to disalign yourself with. Do you understand what that means? You know, and if you ask them to, like the comment I heard on the radio the other day, guy says, this is the New Year's coming up. I've decided that I'm going to get some new friends. So I just thought I'd let you know, I hope you have a good life, you know? So basically he told his friends that I'm going to go find some new friends. That may be too strong, but anyway, the commitment statement that I just shared with you that I've memorized, and I've memorized it for a long time, is where I want to go next year, Marlene. If we want to do this call next year, this is how it's going to be different. It's like, we didn't come here to learn anything. We come here to be inspired to do something. We didn't come here to take some notes. I know maybe that's impossible. Maybe what I'm trying to suggest is maybe not realistic, but that's what my hope is. And me too. I've got things I want to get done next year, things I've been putting off, things that, you know, that have been buried underneath all the other minutia of the world, right? So it all boils down to, till one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. But the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur that would not otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance that no man could have dreamt could have come his way. With great respect for one of Goethe's couplets, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has magic, genius, power in it. So that whole quote is about beginning. It's about doing. It's not about saying things. It's about doing things. So the Success Cycle, which is a book I'm going to write this year. This book is going to be written. I've committed it to you, and I committed to the group on Thursday too. So I'm in deep trouble, which means if I don't write this book by the end of the year, I owe you all $100. So that's my consequence. Desire. What do you want? Do you really want this? Do you decided to actually do it? Have you declared it to somebody? You declared it to everybody. Do you have a deadline with consequences? If you don't have a deadline with consequences, more than likely it will not happen. So the reason that I've achieved some certain successes in my life, not all the time, but it's because I had consequences. I had to do it or I would lose big time, right? And then the daily activities that you do, the accountability frameworks, I call it, people who are in your team that kind of help support you. I'm not going to go into a lot of the daily things you do to keep you on track, but it's usually a mentor. And so if I can be a mentor for you on Mondays, then I hope I can be a mentor for you. But there are communities that you can join and teams and people you can you surround yourself with. You know, I belong to a church. When one of my kids has a challenge, my whole church organization comes around and supports. If I tell them I have a goal, a spiritual goal especially, I tell them I have a spiritual goal, they help me accomplish it, you know, because we have an incredible support network to do that. But some people don't have that kind of network. So in other words, then you have to say, okay, what do I need to do to form a network like that? How do I get to find a group of people who are like that? You know, even if we know the power of forming a mastermind. The mastermind is 5, 6, 8 people get together every week, at least every other week. And you don't have to be a member of an ARIIX group, but you could form a group and you could say, let's meet together every 2 weeks. And I'll tell you what my goals are, you tell me what your goals are. I'll tell you where I need your help, you tell me where you need my help. We don't have to be on the same project. That's what a mastermind doesn't mean. You have to be masterminding the same thing, but you can be masterminding the process that you're going through and having a group of support team around you who are each trying to achieve their own individual objectives. And so therefore, it would be a strong recommendation for me to you to not be alone at this business. If you're an orphan, then go adopt a mother and a father and go adopt some kids. If you're an orphan and you don't have a team that can kind of support you and gather around you, then you need to go make one. Why? Because as soon as you invite somebody into your team, as soon as you invite them in, if there's a support team, at least some kind of a structure that you can invite them in, it'll make them more successful. They'll succeed more in ARIIX than if it's just you kind of saying to them, well, this is how you join. This is how you sign up. This is where you go to the websites. You can go onto those calls that people do on a weekly basis. Oh, Robert Allen's got that Monday call. You can join that too. Really, that they want, but when you send them to a call like this, they're still alone. They're all by themselves. So I would say, if you want to be smart, look at all the top leaders. They got groups. They got groups that they interact with every single week. They got deep roots with support teams and systems that make the daily do more doable. Because you get up in the morning and if there's no team around you and no commitment that you've made to other people, there's just you and the decision, do I keep my commitment to myself today or not? That's hard. Where you wake up in the morning and you go, are we all in the same track? We all move in the same direction. This little team I have in mind, this little group of people that I've got together. And I was asking all the people that came on the calls, all these top leaders, you know, what's your infrastructure? Did you notice we asked that question a lot? What's your infrastructure? And they would go, well, so Dr. Vasquez was very different. You know, he doesn't have a whole real great infrastructure. It's kind of, when you talk to Dr. Pena and a couple of others who are in his really top downline, they go, we meet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, there was a guy in Japan who wanted to join one of my teams, and then he said he would, and he bailed. And this is right at the very beginning of ARIIX. And then about 5 years later, he kind of shows up again, and he says, I'm ready. I think I'm ready now. And he built another organization, another company. He did really good. And I said, tell me what it's like for you as the leader, making this serious amounts of money, serious amounts of money. He says, hey, every day, I'm in this every day. Every night of every day of every week, I'm all in. And when I first heard him say that, this was, you know, a few years ago, when I was still learning, you know, how some of the great leaders do it. And I thought, yeah, that's too much work. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not in for that. No, I got all kinds of other streams of income. No, not going to do that. And then I began to realize, hey, that's why he's where he's at. He's serious money. And he, you know, once he does that for 5 years, he never has to work another day in his life. He can travel for the rest of his life. But most people do this on the piecemeal, and invest a little 15 minutes here, a little half an hour there, and it's like trying to fly an airplane off a runway 15 feet at a time, and stopping and starting, and then do another 10 feet, and then stopping and checking things out, and trying, and pushing the throttle for another 50 feet, and then go, oh yeah, that's an interesting. Let's take that. Let's take that taxiway over there. Oh, that's really interesting. And you know, no, sorry, no, want to make this work. It's like throttle down, all in, let's go. Now, some of you are not ready for that. So we'll continue to do these calls, but we'll be focusing our attention more on commitment. So Marlene, you're the one that made this happen. You asked, and I was really hesitant. I was really wondering, shall we do this or not? So if that's what you'd like me to do, and anyway, if you'd like this to continue, I need you to put yes. I want to see it in the chat.
Can I say something as well, Robert?
Sure, of course. Everybody's writing yes,
I'm Lori, and I'm half year just outside of Calgary, Alberta, and half a year in Arizona. So I'm kind of back and forth. And I'm not sure if you know, but I recognize a lot of faces on here. We were all at GoPro this weekend. And
good.
Yes, so you are going to see a flux in because a lot of people got their rear ends kicked. And and mindset was huge. So even for me, I've been in a little bit of a sleeper mode for the last little while, but new goals and coming on. So having this and I love what you said, because one of the things we heard loud and clear is assignments, giving them to our downline or new people that we're having coming in, but also having them for ourselves. So you giving an assignment, just like Werner said, I think is an amazing tool. And how lucky are we to be able to benefit from that right within our company. When we go out, people go out, lots of people go out, they spend tons. And as far as the commitment goes, I agree, there needs to be a commitment. If you say you're going to do it, then you do it, and you're there and you show up every time, because you show up for us. So we should show up for you. So yes, having that commitment. But the other commitment I think you could ask for January, because you want your numbers bigger, is those leaders of us, we should commit to getting other people on this call, telling them the value of, you know what, you said you were going to do this in 2021. This is a key part, because one of the things we did, we heard a speaker, I can't even remember who it was, talked about the motivation, really strong accent. I don't know, somebody pipe up, Marlene, if you can remember. He was one of the last speakers. And the levels of motivation, external, self-motivation. He talked about 4, and sometimes you need a little bit of each to keep yourself in the game. So I appreciate it. I'm not on often, actually haven't probably been on for a very long time. But with my new goals, this fits right in. So I would appreciate you.
Great, Lori. Okay, so I'll make a commitment. I'll be here through the month of January, but I need to get those numbers up over 100. And if they're not up over 100, this is not valuable enough for you. It's not valuable enough for me. We need 100 people on this call at least. So how many of you are willing to commit to help me do that? Okay. That means you got to bring somebody in. We need to get that number over 100.
That means everybody needs to just bring one.
Just bring one. Absolutely. Just bring one. We need to get that number over 100. So we need to show Rick that we're really serious here. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, my friends, for laying it out here. Always happy to have you share with me any way we can make this better, or anything I do that makes it less valuable to you. I want to eliminate that and add more. All right. And then Anthony's going to bring 10. I believe you, Anthony. You're going to do it all by yourself, aren't you? There you go. Jolene says she's going to bring 1. Now that's called declaration. You declared. All right. Okay. So let's have a declaration here. This is you have 2 weeks to pull it off. I need you to declare to me, to us. Now, I'm not to me. I'm not being all that important here. How many of you now? And remember, don't make a declaration you can't fulfill. So I'd rather you said you're going to bring 1 and did it than 10 and and only brought 1. So just declare what's realistic for you that you know you can make a done. A done is, it's done. It's not a goal. It's a done. Okay, good. Sandra says 2. Great. Hashi's going to bring 2. Thank you. Ingrid's going to be 2. Vivian's going to bring 1. Elizabeth's going to bring 4. It's not a contest. We're not trying to get, you're not to be who brings the most people wins. No, It's you competing with yourself and your word. When you say your word, you mean it. When somebody says, I'll enroll somebody this week and doesn't, that means they broke their word. So you can, on the chat, I just want you to commit on when is the day? Is it the 4th of January? When is it? I think it's the 4th of January is a Monday. On the 4th of January, it's a new year. Everybody's kind of back to life and excited about it. All right, so good. Sharon, you're going to bring 1. Remember, this is permanentized. Your word is going into print. Can't be retracted unless you retract it now before we're done. Okay, good. Carrie, 1. Excellent. We're going to get over 100 here this January the 4th. Good. That's great. All right. Forgive me, I was a little grumpy today. So thank you, Marlene. You do exactly what I needed to get into today, and I didn't know how to do it. So you were all right, good. Now there's Terry and Susan say, oops, we'll be on our trip for the 45th anniversary. We'll text that week, we declare to be on the next. Now that's keeping your word. Excellent. 45 years. You sure that you really want to stick around any longer with 45? Okay, all right. Are we meeting next Monday? No, we are not. I'll be out of the country. And we are also not meeting the week between New Year's, because I'll still be out of the country. So you'll have to ask Rick if he wants to. I think Allison, let's just simmer during this holiday time and let's kick it up a notch January 4th. That's what I would recommend. See you January 4th. All right, there we go. Very good. Any other questions that you have? If you have a question, comment, thought, you have to open up.
Comment. This is Kelly and Kellner, Jane here. What I realized in the commitment conversation, and we've had this commitment of document. Yeah. It's up on our wall all the time. So thank you for reminding us. And what I see is going on in our lives right now, the personal thing, it was never anything but commitment. It was like, this is shown up, this is what we do. And it's all in literally 24/7, doing what we need to do in our lives. And it's just as committed as building our businesses. And what's available in this call is all the things that once we have the time back for ourselves, we know where to go, what to do.
Great.
And while we may not be able to make big promises and do a lot of business building, this is, as I said, feeding our souls, feeding our hearts, feeding our future. And today's discussion of commitment was like, oh my gosh, that's what we're living. So thank you for bringing us back to what we're doing, because it was just like, oh, this is what we do. So we're all in. It was just all in from the beginning. And we realize now, oh, this is what all in looks like. Well, we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. Anybody else want to make a comment, question, thought? Yes, Nancy, go ahead.
Well, this is kind of the bottom line for everything we talked about: commitments, making decisions, being all in, and knowing is really what Jane just said, is that you have to know what you want to do. It's clarity of purpose. And that was another thing that was talked about a lot this past weekend. And if you're struggling with that, then it's going to be hard to fulfill anything. So I don't know if this is possible, but if, when we come back, if you can, help some of us who are challenged in this area to, find give us some tools or something to identify our clarity of purpose and be able to write it down. Right. So
there are two lessons that you remind me of there. So Nancy, maybe one of the solutions for you, Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich that there were two fundamental lessons that are in that book. And he says, I'm going to hide the secret. I'm not going to tell you what they are. So if you remember reading the book, there are 13 principles. Mm-hmm. Desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, decision, organized planning, persistence, the power of the mastermind, the mystery of sex transmutation, the brain, the subconscious mind, and the sixth sense. I memorized those because I want to remember them.
You sure did.
What he said in that book is there are two secrets in this book, and I will not tell you what they are. And if you get them, then you'll get it. And they'll think and you'll go rich. But if you don't get these things, sorry, ain't gonna happen. So the real question is, what are those two things? Because he never told us. Well, you mentioned one of them, Nancy. That was clarity of purpose. You gotta know what you want and what you want. You gotta know not only what you want, but does it fit who you are, and this is what you should bring into the world. And so that was number one. And I learned that from a guy who did an enormous amount of research in Napoleon Hill, and he called me to tell me he knew what the secrets were. And he'd written a book about it. So number two was thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. And the meaning, whatever you think comes to be. If you think it a lot, you're doubling down that that's going to actually happen. So if you think uncertainty, Nancy, about like, I'm not sure what I should be doing right here. Well, thoughts are things. So it's going to grow into an uncertain garden, and you're going to pick uncertain fruit until you get really clear. I only want this fruit. And I'm going to find that seed, and I'm going to cultivate that darn seed until it gives me the fruit I wanted. And I'm going to kill all the other seeds or all weeds. I'm going to kill them until I get this fruit that I really want. So that's what Think and Grow Rich is all about. Now, he talks about the 13 principles, but essentially he says you got, whatever you think. So be careful what you think. So be clear on what you want, right? So anyway, Nancy, thank you. That took me off on a tangent. Anybody else want to make a thought, comment, question, aha? Just unmute yourself.
I couldn't. Bob, I want to throw something else in that really fits, I think, in this whole conversation. And I know it's your session, but I'm looking at Nancy's backdrop, and that reminds me of something. And what it reminds me of is one of the things I ask my people to do when they are on these treks. And that is to really, really, really get in touch with who they are. And
Yeah.
the question that I ask them to ponder, and most people don't go deep enough, but when they do, there is just such an amazing aha alignment with providence. And the question is just very simple. Who am I? And they'll come up with things like, oh, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother. But the question always is, and who is it that is that? And when you cannot get to anything else, when there is no other answer, that's what the revelation is. And I'm just going to challenge people to play with this over the next couple of weeks, because it fits so well into you're talking about alignment and congruence.
Yeah. Yeah. Who am I? Yeah. It's good. Thank you, Werner, for that wisdom. And is that the mountain you climbed? That's Everest behind Nancy there?
Nancy, talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a valley leading toward Everest. And it's probably one of the most beautiful scenes that I've ever seen in the world. And it's from a place called Tengboche. And actually, the Everest is right behind her left shoulder. Just that little tip, not that big one, the one way in the background.
Oh,
Yeah, it just sticks out behind what's called the Nuptse wall.
Yeah.
And the first time people see it, it's just like, wow. You can't but feel connected and get the chills to be in this environment. But again,
well, everybody, Werner's going to take a group to Kilimanjaro this next summer, right?
Kilimanjaro this summer and probably Everest Base Camp next fall.
Yeah.
We had actually planned it for this year, but we had to defer. And more than likely, we still can't do it next spring because of COVID. But in the fall, we'll do.
If you want to have a life-changing experience, he took me to the top of Kilimanjaro, and I'll never forget that, how he changed my life. Thank you, Werner. Okay, everybody, my best to you. Have a wonderful day. Looks like we're going to be here with a bigger group on the 4th of January. In the meantime, have a wonderful holiday season. For those of you who are Christian, Merry Christmas. For those who have other spiritual persuasions, may this be a wonderful, joyous time for you. May we all relax during this next couple of weeks. If that's what you do, enjoy, give gifts, and love people, love each other. What else is there? See you. Bye. Bye-bye, everybody. See you, Barb. See you, Ashley. See you, April. We're in the car.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Many
Thank
blessings.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you. 2025.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Thank
See you
you.
next year.
Thank you.
Merry